Thank you so much, Lindsay. Lindsay Hayes is our guest this evening, and we thank you, Lindsay, for joining us tonight on our special program, Faces of Beth Tikvah,
I
getting to
love it.
know the people in the community a little bit better. I'm sure everybody knows you well, but Jackie and I had a chance to meet you, Lindsay. It was interesting on Simchas Torah Day. We were here at the synagogue and we were marching to Or Shalom.
Yeah.
And it was at during that march, about the 20 minutes or so that it took to get to Or Shalom, we were chatting with you, which was a wonderful time for us to meet you. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to be on your podcast. I'm really, really excited to be here.
Excellent, excellent. And we were there with your father, Kevin, who we later found out that we put it together. That your dad and I were actually in Yeshiva University together at the same in the same year, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So, Lindsay, what struck Jackie and myself was how you're involved in a lot of extracurricular programming. And one of them that you mentioned, which caught our attention, was the Jewish Canadian Youth Model United Nations program. So
Yes.
perhaps you can tell us a little bit about it so that we could all become more acquainted with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Jewish Canadian Youth Model United Nations, or some people call it J-Simon as the acronym. We are a organization that hosts a Model UN conference, which is like a United Nations simulation every year for high school students from around Canada and America. And we have a school who comes in from Brazil every year, and they are delightful. So we have
Wow.
students coming from far and wide. This year, we're expecting around 250 students, and they are put into committees with different topics that are current issues going on around the world, and they each represent a country and get to write resolutions and problem solve with students that are like-minded. So I've been part of J. Simon for 7 years, and it is my second year as the Secretary General. And it is my pride and joy. It's my passion project, and it takes up a lot of my time. But my team is unbelievable, and I know that all of the kids love it. We have delegations from the Jewish schools in Montreal, as well as Jewish schools from all around the world. So they're so happy to be there. I think some may even be happier than I am, which I think is impossible because it's my favorite
Well,
weekend of the whole world.
Well, I think it's, what I looked at the website. What struck me was it says on the website that this entire program is coordinated by volunteers like yourself, university students who are working like crazy year round to coordinate this, and that really struck me, the fact that everyone is a volunteer and doing all this extra work. It must be something, a real labor of love for you guys.
Absolutely. I mean, all of us that are on the Secretariat team have been with Jay Simon for so many years. I started as a delegate myself when I was in grade 10 at Herzliya, and I fell in love with it. It became something that I looked forward to for such a long time, and I wanted to be in a leadership role, so this was the perfect role for me. This year is sadly my last since I'm graduating,
Oh
but
my,
I'm gonna make it the best, so I'm excited.
right, right. And so is this the second year that you're the Secretary General of this entire program?
Yes, it is.
Wow. So this is like your last chance to really make it special. But I'm sure
I,
each year is great, but I'm sure this year will be extra special because it is your last.
I hope so. We're trying our best.
Yes, it's so exciting. I think it's a great idea. I know that in the States, they have some programs that are somewhat similar to it, and the kids really get into it. It becomes something very, very special to them, very memorable to be able to be a part of this. Is it hard for the students to be accepted into it, or how does that work? Or they have to be recommended by their teachers?
So yeah, the school sends a delegation of their choice every year, and the delegation sizes range between 5 students and 40 students, and they're all intelligent and enthusiastic and excited and amazing, and they really do get into it. It becomes such a huge concept, and they talk about it and think about it for weeks after that, and hopefully
Right.
years, like me.
Yes, yes. And now you mentioned that this is your last year because you're graduating. You're currently a student at McGill,
Yes.
and so you're finishing up soon.
Yes, exactly. So I'm technically graduating fall 2025, so next fall. But in order to participate in J Simon, I would have needed to commit for the whole year, which I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in the winter. So I wasn't able to make that commitment.
Right. Got it. Got it. And your major is in what is your international development studies?
Yeah, exactly. I'm an international development studies major with a minor in education.
Wow. So this is program that you're doing with the United Nations is really sort of corresponding to your major in a nice way.
It's very relevant, exactly. And I think my major sort of came from my love for Model UN. And since high school, since CEGEP, when I've had all of these ideas in mind and questions about the rest of the world besides Canada, what's going on, how we can solve major issues, and what we could do as students and independent young leaders in order to make some big changes. So I think my program is definitely very eye-opening in terms of learning about different demographics and different areas in the world and what the issues are in terms of, let's say, poverty, healthcare, education. There's so much going on, and I'm really enjoying every bit of it.
Yes. Yeah. Now, do you think that the students these days are more in tune to the UN and what's going on because of the situation in the Middle East with Israel and the challenges that are faced by Israel? Do you think students are taking to this in a more exciting way because of what's happening?
I think that students realize that this is a Model UN proceeding, so it's not going to encompass the values that the UN currently has in its different committees, but it's in a Jewish environment with mostly Jewish staff, all Jewish students that want to learn together and are very much like-minded. So I think they take an extra motivation because they realize what's going on in Israel, what's going on around the world. It takes young leaders to make a change and to stand up in their communities, and giving them the opportunity to learn about different countries and different issues makes them feel motivated that there are things that they could do. There are things that we can all do.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, let's talk for a moment or two about your major and your work that you're doing because while we were walking on that beautiful Simchat Torah day, I think I recall it was really a beautiful day
It really
outside. That you also mentioned that you were doing a project at school related to synagogues. Can you tell us a
is.
little bit about that one?
Absolutely. So I'm taking a class in anthropology, which is the ethnographic approaches to anthropology at McGill University. And my project, I was given a research field assignment for the semester where the professor assigned me a door. So I had to find a situation, which is what he calls it, where a location where I have to study a singular door for 4 months for the entire semester and the different aspects that come with it socially, culturally, which seems a little bit silly because what can be social or cultural about a door? But apparently a lot. I have been loving this project, so I've chosen to do the doors in our synagogue, which have meant so much to me since I've been a congregant forever, and I've been coming to synagogue since I was a little girl. So I've decided to discuss the changes in atmosphere between the doors as a barrier between a religious and a secular environment, and how going through the doors into our sanctuary really changes someone's mindset, changes how they act and how they think. And it's really been so eye-opening. It makes me love coming to synagogue. I loved it before. I love it even more now because I feel like I have not just a mission to pray and to be close to God and my community, but also a mission to observe what's going on. And I feel like I definitely have a new outlook on the door and on our synagogue and especially on anthropology because I did not know how I was going to complete this project. I've been focusing a lot on how people react physically. Like I realize people straighten their coat and straighten their posture or adjust their kippah as they come in, or sometimes forget to put on a kippah and then run back outside, which I think is very funny, as well as little kids that run into our synagogue, not knowing how much this is going to impact them when they grow up. And they're so cute and running in and out, kind of like yelling, and all the congregants love it, seeing the new generation at Beth Tikvah.
Yes, well, no, that's really something, that's definitely a different kind of project that you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're embracing it and finding it so interesting. But it's true because when you walk into that synagogue, it's like you're walking out of a lobby and into something very unique and very special. So the door definitely plays a pivotal role in that whole environment and how you're changing your view, like you said, because you're not just walking into a room, you're walking into a sanctuary, which is really, a very interesting theme.
I think it's interesting that people leave their worries at the door and focus on themselves when they enter the sanctuary. And I'm lucky that I got to do this project in the fall as well. So a lot of my studies focus on the high holidays, where I think there was such a different importance of holiness when coming into the sanctuary, and also a different group of people. We have many, many congregants that come in during the holiday season that don't always come in for every Shabbat. So I think it's interesting how they approach the synagogue as this special place on a really holy day. And it's been so inspiring, honestly. I really hope whoever's watching this, when they come into the synagogue and they see the door, they realize it in a new perspective.
I'm sure they will, because like you say, this is definitely not your run-of-the-mill type of project. So that's great. So this is turning into a very very important year for you, I guess. You have any notions of where you might go with all this after you finish with the university?
I'm not sure as of right now. I'm definitely interested in international development studies, which is what I'm doing now, and furthering education about global issues. I've been interested in urban planning as well, which I think is really great. And whatever the world is going to bring me, I'm excited. I'm open to anything, and I'm hoping to get an internship in the winter of 2025. So when I graduate, I'll have some work to do then, and it'll hopefully inspire me for my master's degree as well.
Excellent, fantastic. That's you've got a lot of nice choices out there, and I'm sure you'll be excellent. So, just getting back for a moment as we start to wind down. So, when we were chatting with your dad on Simchat Torah, Jackie and myself and yourself, and determined that this we were at YU Yeshiva University at the same time, which I've been searching the Montreal area for YU grads, and here right under the same roof
Yeah.
it's interesting that we actually linked up in that way, and
He
that.
talked so highly of his experience at YU. He loved it so much.
Yeah, I'm trying to I was trying to recollect after we had made that connection. I think I recall him being, quite active in the school. He was quite an active person, and
Absolutely.
he had done a lot of different things, and he really utilized his time well to
I
be.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. My parents are my inspiration, and they are the most hardworking and intelligent and kind people that I know. And seeing both of their upbringings and what they did in university and what inspires them and what makes them happy, I'm not surprised that my dad was involved in so many things.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful that both your parents are sort of like your role models. I think it's great.
Absolutely. My parents, my grandparents, even my siblings, they're such important parts of my life. And I love being in the West Island. I love being with my parents and being here as long as I can to support them and spend time with them. Honestly, it's my favorite thing to do, especially going to synagogue with my dad. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really great. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're hoping that people, if they're curious, they could always go to the website for the United Nations program that you're doing. Maybe
Yes.
some people might want to make donations. I don't, these things are not free, of course. So, but I can, if anyone has any questions, I can always put them in touch with you. I can share your email. Uh,
Absolutely. I mean, it's been really difficult post-COVID in terms of inflation to be finding hotels and catering and all of the resources that we need with the current funds that we have. So if anyone would like to donate, it's definitely appreciated. And we don't have anything on the website to do that right now, but anyone can just contact me, even if they want their kids or grandkids to get involved as well. It's grade 9 to 12.
Perfect. 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 Thank you.
Maybe
Oh, yes.
my gavel
Oh,
from
I love it. You have to be
on my
prepared.
desk. I'm so prepared. I keep it on my desk at all times.
That's fantastic. This is great. Very, very exciting. So we want to thank you, Lindsay, for being available to talk about this very, very unique, interesting program. And I'm sure it will be successful. I'm sure we'll be able to hopefully support you and your very courageous volunteers that are all working on this. I saw the group of friends on the website. They look like a great bunch of people that are working together on this.
They're really amazing. Yeah, there's some congregation members as well that are some of our staff and from all over the island of Montreal. Yeah, they're the best. I'm really lucky to have them.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so until our next chance to learn more about this, we wish you continued success, and we hope that we'll hear great things about the special program that you're planning in a few months. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Regards to your family.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and for everything you're doing for our community.
That's our pleasure. Thank you so much.